And as I moved through that, I continued to heal my body, and I met my now husband and became pregnant naturally with twins again.
Oh my
It was
God.
amazing. It was amazing. And so not only do I have a lot of wisdom, I have personal experience, and I'm living proof that when you support your body and your mind and your soul, you can create anything.
Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the quantum coaching certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. Welcome back, Badass Manifestors. I'm so freaking excited today. We have on a very special guest who is talking about a topic that's very close to my heart and soul. Her name is Andrea Blindt, and she is a registered nurse, and she specializes in fertility, women's health, pediatrics. She is really just a holistic health practitioner. She is a best-selling author. She is a life and mindset coach, and she uses her personal healing journey to bring wisdom and hope to her patients. And she understands that each person is unique, much like the root cause of the obstacles that they're facing. Her story is so beyond inspirational. I'm just going to give you a little blip about her story, and we're going to go way into it. But just so you know, Andrea herself struggled with infertility, and she endured multiple surgeries. She had 2 miscarriages. She had a complicated IVF journey. And so unfortunately, so sadly, she had the death of newborn twins. And she decided that she needed to change the way that she was living. And this healing journey allowed her to heal her own body, conceive naturally, and create her business that's called Growing Miracles with Andrea. So I am like so excited to have you to talk about this topic and share your story, because it's not talked about enough. And it's so important to just shed a light on something that so many women struggle with, and the possibility of, miracles that can happen on your journey. So welcome.
Yay. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. So wow, what a journey that you have been on. I would love for you to just share about that journey. And I know that I'm going to have so many questions as you share. So start wherever you want to start.
Thank you for opening with that. So my business, Growing Miracles, was birthed out of my own journey with infertility and just the struggles that I had with getting pregnant and staying pregnant. Like you mentioned earlier, I had 2 miscarriages. When I was younger, I'd had surgery to remove a tumor off of my left ovary. And during that surgery, doctors discovered that I had stage 4 endometriosis. I had a lot of scarring in my uterus, and they told me when I was 18 that I would never be able to get pregnant or have children of my own. So that was devastating for me. I always wanted to be a mom, and I didn't accept that. And so I went to a fertility specialist after I was married, did the workup, thought it would be easy. I was young, my eggs were good, but with endometriosis, my eggs weren't great. And so it took a long time to get pregnant. And when I did get pregnant, I was over the moon excited. I was pregnant with twins, Grace and Wyatt, and I just felt so grateful. And unfortunately, that pregnancy ended with my twins dying. They were born, and 5 days later, they both died, which just changed my entire life. So I left the hospital a mom, but without living children to show. I was handed multiple pharmaceuticals for depression, anxiety, and sleep. And I went home and I knew this wasn't the way I wanted to live my life. And so at that point, I started researching and digging into all of the different healing modalities that were available to me. I tried them out to see what worked for me, what didn't work for me. I kept studying. I became certified in different modalities. I went on to have 2 more children successfully through IVF treatments. Then I got a divorce, which is wild because, so much goes into fertility treatments and relationships that just our relationship wasn't strong enough to withstand it. And so that in itself brought a lot of lessons and learning and healing into my life. And as I moved through that, I continued to heal my body, and I met my now husband and became pregnant naturally with twins again,
Oh
which
my, I have the chills. Oh my
it was
God.
amazing. It was amazing. And so not only do I have a lot of wisdom, I have personal experience, and I'm living proof that when you support your body and your mind and your soul, you can create anything.
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Okay. First of all, I have to ask, behind you is that an embryo or 2 embryos?
Yes, it is. So I have my first image is a woman. She's whole because she's complete exactly how she is, but she is hopeless. She's in despair. And then the embryo represents a seed, just like growth plants. A baby is a little seed that we get to grow. And so at the end, she pours into herself and she heals herself. And in the end, she's standing tall because she knows healing comes from within.
Wow. I absolutely love that. I
Thank
feel like
you.
the average person who hasn't been through IVF would never know that that's a little embryo in the middle.
Yes. Yes.
So going back, can I ask questions about your story?
Yes, please.
Okay. So when you left the hospital after you lost those 2 babies, was there a reason that happened, or it just was what happened?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, with my endometriosis, I had adhesions all over my uterus and different organs in my body. And so, as my twins grew, they rubbed on adhesions and it really triggered my body to just contract constantly. And so, my uterus contracted every single minute until I delivered. I was in the hospital for 2 months on bed rest, just trying to control the contractions. I had been given magnesium through an IV, which basically paralyzed my body. It stops your muscles from contracting as much. So they give you a toxic dose to help keep your babies in longer. And when that happened, I ended up getting pneumonia in my lungs. It was horrible. I just felt like I had the flu, like a bus had hit me. You can't get up to go to the bathroom, so I had to have a catheter. You're in bed, they roll your entire gurney into the shower to be bathed once a week. It just wasn't amazing. And it was a really unfortunate series of events. My doctor was not working the day that I was delivered, and a rookie doctor came in. I was contracting. She didn't know that that was kind of my status quo. She came in and she thought I was 36 weeks pregnant. And she said, okay, you're contracting, we're going. And she pulled the side rails up on my bed and started rolling me towards the OR. And I was in disbelief. I thought, okay, this isn't happening. Wait, no, like I can't deliver right now. Call my doctor, give me different medication, do something. And she just said, no, we're going. Because in her mind, it was time.
Right.
And I was in a Catholic hospital. I had 3 different nurses try to stop her from delivering me. I was crying. I covered my head with the sheet and I just said, no, I can't do this. I wasn't as strong of an advocate then for myself as I am now. So I went in, they rolled me into the OR and delivered my twins. And when they were born, they were immediately taken to the OR. So they were born at 26 weeks. They were taken straight to the NICU. And I never thought that they wouldn't come home. I'd worked as a NICU nurse, I worked in pediatrics, and I thought, okay, we're in the hospital, we're going to be here for a really long time. They're going to learn how to eat and learn all the things that they didn't get to learn while they were inside of me, but they're going to come home. I never once imagined that they would not be coming home with me.
Wow. 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 And I think like, well, thank you for sharing that first and foremost. I'm sure that it's probably never easy to even talk about that. Like, I don't know even how much time has passed, but it's still part of your story and your journey. And I just honor that so much. And I think a big piece that you said, like advocacy, like advocating for yourself. I think that's something that so many women don't know how to do
Yes.
at all.
Yeah,
At
it's
all.
so important.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that that happened to you, and also acknowledge that it sent you on your healing journey.
Yes, it absolutely did. And it'll be 10 years this year. And
Wow.
like you said, it's never easy to talk about, but I will say there's so much peace within me when I speak about it because I've really turned the pain of that loss and that experience into something really beautiful and meaningful that brings hope and
Mhm.
wisdom into the world.
Yeah.
Because advocating, I was a nurse. I advocated for my patients every day. And I thought I was advocating for myself. But really inside, I was afraid of disappointing people. I didn't want to be the needy patient that asked for a million things because I knew how hard nurses worked. And so I also didn't question everything my doctors did or told me because it's a respect. Nurses respect the doctors, right? Patients respect what they're told and they obey and do what they're told. And it really took growing through that pain to acknowledge where I could have been stronger. And I can't look back. All I can do is find the gifts of that time and
Mhm.
put them into action today.
Yeah, and you so are. You
Thank
so
you.
are. And it's so, do you believe like on a spiritual level that your twins actually came back to you?
So I thought that was happening when I became pregnant with my twins that I have right now. So when I got pregnant naturally, I got pregnant with boy girl twins again, which is who I'd lost to begin with. And when I went to the doctors, we thought it was going to be an ectopic pregnancy because my fallopian tubes were blocked. I had so much scarring that there wasn't a way we thought a pregnancy could ever be viable. So my doctor brought me in, he did an ultrasound, and immediately I saw two embryos in my uterus. And I started sobbing, and my doctor's face just fell flat. The nurse was crying in the back. And I said, how I cussed, how the F does this happen? Like, there's no way I go through fertility treatments, have two miscarriages, get pregnant with twins, the twins die, so many other things happen. And then I can get pregnant naturally with twins and they're in my uterus. And the doctor just said, this is a miracle. There's
Oh,
no answer for this. And he said, let's see the date of conception. So he starts looking, tracking my last period because it's a natural cycle. So, all of that comes into play. And he says it was April 4th. So then I lose my mind again. I grab my phone. I have a picture of my very first fertility cycle with all of my embryos. You get that when you go through fertility cycles,
yeah.
your little first photographs. The date that I transferred my first two babies into my tummy was April 4th, 5 years earlier.
Oh
Crazy,
my God.
crazy. So I was like, what in like, this is insane. But I couldn't wrap my mind around having a boy and a girl again. So when I found out around 16 weeks pregnant that it was a boy and a girl, I really fell into a deep depression and PTSD because it mirrored so closely. I thought, oh my gosh, like, what if
Yeah.
they die just like my first set? The due dates were the same. We celebrated my first twins' birthdays and the day that they died while I was pregnant. And it just felt so surreal that I really needed to lean into support and into my husband and therapy to help me get through that. Then,
Wow.
when our twins were born, they were born early also. So I was in the hospital again with preterm labor. They were born early. they spent 106 days in the hospital. Insane. And it just was a really, really long journey. It was an uphill battle. When they came home with a lot of medical challenges. We had nursing care in our house. They had IV poles, feeding tubes. It just felt endless. And I really had to lean into my faith and to focusing on tomorrow instead of just the chaos and the busyness of today.
Whoa. Whoa. I'm just blown away. Like, wow.
It's been a life.
It's been a life. How old are they?
So they are 5.5 now.
Oh my goodness.
They are thriving in life, just doing so well, despite all of the medical diagnoses they have and the challenges. They both still have feeding tubes. Our son was diagnosed in 2019 with a really rare disorder, and we were basically told that he would not survive, that there's no cure for what he has. These kids have no quality of life. He suffered in so much pain every single day. He threw up multiple times. He was miserable. And the doctor said, you can admit him to the hospital and let him fade away.
Oh my God.
And I almost fell to my knees. Like, this is not happening again. This is crazy. I'm not doing this. But I picked myself up and I came home and I told my husband, listen, we have two choices. We can live like he's dying, listen to the doctors, and he will die. Or we can change everything we're doing. We will stop listening to what doctors are telling us, and we will do what we believe to be right for him in our bodies. And we will no longer be talking about his diagnosis, his quality of life. We're not going to tell him he's failing to thrive or not gaining weight. We're only going to tell him all of the amazing things he's doing. We're going to remind him every day how strong his body is and how it was created perfectly. We're all created perfectly. And we move away from that perfection. And so I just said, we're going to keep reminding him of his ability to heal, his cell's ability to regenerate.
Yeah.
I am not kidding. That boy, when he started talking, he said some of his first words were strong and healthy.
Oh.
And at 5.5, he is the best advocate for his health that I've ever met, even out of adults. He's 5. He's eating dinner and he will stop. He'll sit back and he'll say, my body feels like it's full. I'm going to take a few minutes and see if I feel hungry again. Otherwise, I'll save that for later. Like, he's 5.
Oh my gosh.
And I just say, good job, buddy. That's right. You listen to your body and honor it.
Wow.
Yes. And so this boy that we were told would not live just started preschool. He is thriving. He's running. He's playing. He still has pain sometimes, but he knows how to navigate his pain. And his body has healed so much that it's not constant.
The fact that you were strong enough to say, hold up, like, this is what we're doing. And this is how we're moving forward, despite what doctors said, is obviously life-changing. Like, it created miracles because you decided.
Yes. Yeah. I think that was one of my biggest line in the sand moments in my life, because I'd gone through depression. I'd hit rock bottom. I struggled with choosing to live for my kids, for myself, because of the pain that I'd had in my past. But when we got that diagnosis, it was like, okay, you have already tried everything else. So why wouldn't you be open to trying something new, something that many people don't talk about, but that has the potential to change
Everything,
his life and the world? And so that's what I did. I just was like, I'm doing it. And I never looked back.
Thank you for doing that, because it is such a powerful message for everyone listening right now. And it can be related to literally anything that you're struggling with, like anything that someone told you that you could never do, or your health issues, or whatever it is that you're dealing with. Like, you can choose to see it and go after it in a completely different way, and you created a completely different reality, is the
Yes.
bottom line.
Yes.
You're aware of that, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think for me, that is what makes me an amazing manifester, an amazing mom, an
Yes.
amazing nurse, is my ability to believe that you can create anything you want. And also knowing that it might not always look exactly how I want it to look, that it can show up in different packages, in different presentations, words that I hear, but being aware and open enough to see all of those little, I call them like proofs,
Yeah.
because that's how I'm proving those little realities. He didn't heal overnight, but it was every day looking for proof in his ability to heal. Maybe he threw up 10 times today instead of 11. Well, that's proof that he's getting stronger. And so that's what I would continuously focus on: what is happening right now around me, instead of being stuck in what's not happening and how hard it is and the struggle.
And I know people are listening that are probably thinking, wow, like my struggle is nothing compared to, what Andrea is sharing. And that's not the point of this. The point of this is to help you understand that, like, no matter what it is, you can look for proof in the opposite direction, and you can take your attention off of the lack, off of what's not happening, off of the scarcity, off of the fear, and turn your attention into the direction of what you want. I say this all the time, and I believe this all the time. It's like, what if it really were possible like that? I want to say that easy, because it's not easy, but it's possible.
Yes, it's so possible. And whatever struggle someone has in their life, because none of us are immune to challenges in life. Storms come, some of them are unavoidable, and they all bring devastation into our lives. So just knowing where you are, you don't need to compare your challenge to anyone else's, because it's valid for you and your life.
Totally.
But being open to even imagining, what do I want? What could my life look like? I lost my ability to dream for a really long time, or imagine a future that was worth living for. But once I did that, my entire life changed. And
Mm.
so that's what I encourage everyone to do. No matter how small, sit for a few minutes and just ask, what do I want? How do I want to feel? Because if you can find a feeling that you want to experience and then surround yourself in it. For me, I wanted to experience joy, but I didn't even know how joy felt. I was in such a dark spot. And so I started asking, what does joy look like? Who do I know that has joy? And then I would watch them, and I would watch my kids, and I would take pictures of my kids laughing, and I would tape them on my mirror, make a vision board of joyful moments, people
Wow.
experiencing. And as I started surrounding myself and my life with it, I started realizing that I was feeling it in my own life.
Mm. I've never heard someone who created a vision board uh, of joy itself, of the feeling. That's so
Mhm.
cool.
Yes. Yeah, because that's what I wanted. And it's like I can say I want joy, but what does that feel like? Because
Yeah.
joy can look like 900 different things to all of us. How we perceive joy is so personal. And so for me, it was like, how can I plant the seed to grow that feeling that I want to feel? Because then when I feel it, that's proof that I have it and that I'm
Yeah.
getting it.
Yeah. So when you were kind of in that place of like wanting to feel joy and starting to put your intention on making it happen, right? Were you at that time aware of manifestation, law of attraction? Like, were you awoke to that, or were you just following something that you wanted?
So I'd heard of manifestation, law of attraction, And when I first heard of it, I was pissed off. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, hell no. I did not attract my babies dying. I did not attract being abused. I did not attract all of these challenges in my life. I was angry. But then, as I started allowing my mind to be more open and catching the thoughts that I had, I realized, man, if I think the world is crappy and people are always out to get me,
Mhm.
well, then it's going to be easier for me to see this person standing on the sidewalk who wants to grab my purse and run, as opposed to if I assume the world is peaceful and that there are joyful people around me, I'm going to be more aware of the person on the sidewalk who's smiling and who meets my smile with a happy Friday,
Yes.
you know? And so once I realized that my perception played a big role in what I was attracting,
Mm-hmm.
I could also let myself off the hook because we don't cause the outcomes, but we might attract the feelings that come with the situation. So I didn't bring on my twins dying, but because I felt so much hopelessness in my body, I was able to attract a situation that just helped me feel that hopelessness in my life.
Wow.
And so that's how I saw it. Once I was able to see that, I could see it in every single situation of my life and then decide, okay, do I want to feel hopeless? No, I don't want to feel hopeless. Okay, how do I want to feel? You want to feel like this? Great. How does that look? Let's get it.
Wow. I absolutely love that. The fact that you were able to put those pieces together, I think is why people hire coaches, right? Like why people get help because they can't connect those dots for themselves. But I mean, to some degree, that is like radical responsibility, not for what happened, but for the feelings that you were experiencing.
Yes.
Whoa. I think I
Yeah.
said
And giving
wow.
myself, like cutting myself some slack in it too, because,
Right.
if I blamed myself so much, but it wasn't my fault. Reminding myself, hey, that super sucks that that happened, but you really were only attracting what you knew how to attract. You were only accepting things in your life that you believed you were worthy of receiving.
Mm,
And I'm sorry, little Dre, that you felt that way. I'm sad
right.
for you, and I'm so proud of the woman you are today because of your resilience.
Mm, amen.
Yes.
Amen. So, so how many IVF cycles did you go through? And you're a mother of four, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So I went through, I did IUI, so that's intrauterine insemination
Right.
for a year,
Wow.
which wasted a lot of time knowing that I had blocked fallopian tubes.
Oh my God.
So that was rough. And then I did 3 rounds of IVF to get my 4 babies, and then my twins died, and then I had my oldest 2. They were both very complicated IVF cycles again. I got pregnant with my daughter, and I had to have major abdominal surgery 13 weeks into our pregnancy. So
Wow.
that was crazy. And then she was born, tiny but perfect. With my son, I had preterm labor again. It was a very complex pregnancy. I was in the hospital for 6 weeks, and then my uterus ripped open. And I was so grateful that I was in the hospital because I was rushed immediately into surgery. The doctor was able to save my son and my life. And I'm so grateful that I was there and that that happened.
Wow. And through it all, you were like, I still want to have more babies.
I did not want to have more babies. I
Oh,
had
okay.
so much peace with the 2 living children that I had. I felt closure. I was so grateful. My doctor said, you cannot have any more children. And I wasn't planning on it. I said, okay, great. I separated from my husband. We got divorced. I felt so peaceful in my life, which really helped my light shine brighter. And
Yeah.
so I always say my healing was like the light on a lighthouse that attracted my now husband to me because He is way better than me. I never could have attracted him in the life that I was living before.
Mm.
He's so positive, so mindful, so smart, just loves unconditionally. And when he came into my life, I told him I can't have kids. And that was devastating for him because he always wanted to be a dad.
Mm.
So he thought about it for a really long time. And he prayed and said, I have a huge heart for children. And if this is my path to be the best stepdad possible to your two kids, then I'm grateful for that role. And
I'm gonna
so I
cry. Oh
think,
my God.
yes, his willingness to love me exactly where I was, to not try to change me or my mind, but to embrace us, really provided a safe space for me to heal. And I honestly think that helped relax all those little areas in my body that needed to relax and feel safe enough to get pregnant. And that man showed up every single day. He didn't just say, hey, I'm here for you, I'm a partner. He showed up every day in his actions and continues to do that daily. He's my biggest advocate and cheerleader. He believes in me fiercely.
Hmm.
So when our doctors tell us something, he listens, but then he comes to me and he says, what do you think? How do you feel? What you believe is what I stand behind.
Wow.
And
That
so,
level of support and love and partnership
yes,
is
he
so
is a true
beautiful.
partner, such a partner.
Wow. 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 Thank you for sharing that. Shout out to your husband. What's his name?
Yes, Ryan.
Ryan. We love you.
Yes, he's the best.
So, okay, I have some more questions if you don't mind. So, I know that you also now help women get pregnant naturally if they
I
want to,
do.
right?
Yes.
So, a little bit about my journey, because all of my listeners know pretty much that I was so against doing IVF when I decided to jump into it. I did IUIs as well. I did 6 IUIs, and the doctor was like, it's time for IVF. And I was just like, no, like hard no, super against it, wasn't natural, whatever, all that. And I took a break for like months and months and months to try and just have it happen naturally, to be honest. And I said by the end of last summer, if it doesn't happen naturally, then we'll move forward. Because my husband is older than me. He's 9 years older than me. He's 42 now. I'm 34. And I felt like I wasn't being fair. Not that age matters, because it really doesn't for him. For me, it does. But I just felt like it wasn't fair of me. So I wanted to move forward, and I got flat with it. And I was like, all right, we're going to do this, and I'm going to be all in. And I just want, if you could just speak to that attachment I'm sure you see in your clients, or you've experienced maybe even yourself, of like, feeling like it's unnatural to being all in. And then I don't know, is there anything coming up for you around that you can speak to?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for sharing that because that's such a knowledge and awareness that so many of us look past. And those feelings definitely can play a role in our outcomes. So, I think everyone should be seen as an individual because no plan is the same for everybody. So it's really asking yourself, okay, what am I okay with? It's not natural. Okay, well, I really want natural, but it's not happening that way. So I like to give a timeline, and that timeline can be readjusted anytime you want. So you talk to your partner, hey, for the next 3 months, this is what we want to try. If it doesn't work in 3 months, what's our next step? Okay, our next step's IVF, but I'm still really sad because it's not natural. Well, if you know the outcome is that you want to have a baby, and IVF is a step that's going to bring you closer to that outcome, what can you do outside of that cycle that's natural? You can still pick high quality organic fruits and vegetables that you put in your body. That's natural. You can watch your water. You can watch the toxins in your environment. So even though you're adding a little bit of medicine over here, you're also still using natural methods to support your body. And so cutting yourself some slack, saying, I'm okay with this because in conjunction with all of these things that I do have control over, I
Mm.
know that this is going to help me get closer to the outcome that I desire.
Yes. It's so interesting because I actually definitely did that even without thinking about it. I think it is a control thing too.
Yes,
Definitely.
it
So I
is.
was
IVF is a loss of control, total loss of control. You go from being intimate with your partner to everything's scheduled.
Yep.
And you're told what to do. You're seeing a doctor 3, 4 times a week. You're giving yourself shots at home daily.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, and you're hoping that your body responds. You don't know what's happening in there. So you're really leaning into this faith and this unknowing and putting all of your energy and emotions on a hopeful outcome that might not turn out how you want it to be.
Totally. Yes, 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 yes. All of it. And I didn't even understand the level of um, commitment even before I went into it. So going into it the first time, I was like, whoa, this is a lot. This is a lot, but it's not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought. I started to like just get into it and like be
Mhm.
okay with it. And I think for a while I was feeling like it was a failure, right? Like that feeling of I'm a failure because I have to do this.
Mhm.
Did you ever feel that way?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that that is a feeling so many of us feel. We look at others and we think, man, that teenager could get pregnant. That
Yeah.
person who didn't want to have kids could get pregnant. What's so wrong with me that I can't do what nature designed us to do? But then I remind myself, sometimes we need help in life. And what a gift it is that I have the resources and the ability to receive that help. When babies start walking, they use furniture to help stabilize them as they start taking those steps. But we don't shame that baby's body for not being able to get up, stand, and walk right away.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we think, wow, how resourceful you are for leaning on that table. So instead of being disappointed at your body for not being 100% amazing and how we want it right now, we can give gratitude to it for having the ability to get pregnant, to grow eggs that can become embryos, and to nourish a baby as it grows.
Totally. I started to tap into that as we started going through, and the first cycle failed because the embryo didn't, it didn't form. And I had this incredible opportunity with a clinic in New York City, and I won a free IVF cycle.
That's so amazing.
Insane,
What
insane.
a
So
gift.
what a gift. And I'm like, okay, we didn't come this far just to come this far, right? Like, let's go, let's do this. And it's been such a
Yes.
different experience than the first clinic. Um, I wanted to ask you, in your experience, like through IVF and through different clinics, did you have an experience where you felt like you mattered to the doctor, or did you feel like you were a number? Because I had that experience the first time around of just feeling like I was a number. I did not matter.
Yes. So I honestly felt like a number
Yeah.
for most of my fertility journey. And I think so many people do. And
Mhm.
it's really disappointing because that journey is so intimate and
Mm.
can be such a beautiful memory for the person going through treatments, but also that they pass on to others. And so, really, what I encourage people is if you feel like a number, if you don't feel like you are getting a protocol that is specific to you and your needs, be brave enough to look for a different doctor. Because
Yeah.
I tell you, the doctor you have is not the only doctor out there. And know that you can be grateful for the time you spent in that office because maybe it taught you that you deserved something else or that you wanted a different experience. And then believe that there is a doctor out there ready to accept you and to provide the experience that you deserve.
Amen. Amen. And I was under the assumption that all fertility clinics were the same. But the truth is that they're not.
They're
They
not.
are not the same because like you said, the doctors are different. And not only that, if you end up having to go through IVF, the labs matter.
Yes, big time.
Big time. I had no idea the first round. Like the first round, I think we started with like 11 no, 11 mature eggs. I think 7 fertilized. And by day 5, 6, we had 1 and it was
Okay.
fair quality. And I believe 100, like with all of me, that it was the lab.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter now, but like, I believe that because it was so drastically different the second time around.
Right.
So just going back to like advocacy, right? Speaking up for yourself, being brave enough to go get a consult with another doctor, ask about their lab. I never thought to ask about the lab. Like, how
Yes.
updated is it? What technology do you use? You
Yeah.
know,
What are the outcomes?
what are the outcomes?
And you
Yeah.
can find a lot of that information online. So when you go to meet with a new doctor, see how you feel. How do you feel with them? Does your body feel good? Do you feel encouraged in that environment? And if not, that is a sign your body's warning you. Go somewhere that you feel good. And then do research online. It's easy. Google makes it so easy for us to look up specific centers and their success of embryo collection, transfers, frozen, fresh. They have all of that online for people to see.
Yeah. Just really educate yourself like as much as you possibly can, because that can really help on your journey.
Yes.
So good. I had one more question for you. What was it? Oh, how do you feel about women who get pregnant from their fertility journeys? And I want to also ask about like natural stuff, natural conception too. So how do you feel about women that get pregnant, whether natural or through IVF? What is your belief around like waiting 12 weeks to tell people, waiting a certain amount of time? Like, do you believe in that? Do you suggest that to your patients, your clients? Like, what are your thoughts and philosophy on that?
So, gosh, that's such a personal question for each person. I really think both ways are okay. I think it's what feels best to you, what feels the safest to you, what supports you the most. I didn't tell people because I was so afraid of one, disappointing people when I had a miscarriage or something bad happened, or I just didn't tell people because I didn't want to curse it or jinx it. But at the same time, I was robbing myself of that support, that encouragement, that hope.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't focusing on this pregnancy lasting already, I realized. I was focusing on planning ahead that I would disappoint people or that I would be mourning a lost pregnancy instead of embracing a joyful one.
Wow.
And in that, when I did have miscarriages, I was again alone and people couldn't support me because they didn't know I needed support. They didn't know I had a miscarriage. So they couldn't be mindful about the things they said or did around me. So I really think it's whatever feels best for you and your life. I I love when people share their pregnancy and share their vulnerability and let others in and tell them exactly what they need. If you're afraid, that's okay. It's normal to be afraid. You just went through a freaking battle to get pregnant. You can
Right.
say, I'm really nervous. So if you could encourage me, or if I'm having a hard day, are you comfortable with me texting you and just having an affirmation or a quick response that you can send to me that will help remind me of where I am today and how capable I am?
Love that. I love that so much. So good. Thanks for sharing that. It is very personal for each person. And I think like finding out the intention behind it, like you were saying, like figuring out, are you coming from that fear? Are you coming from love? Yeah, super powerful. So talk to me a little bit about you now helping clients get pregnant naturally after. Do you take clients that have been through IVF, failed cycles, all of that, and help them heal from the inside out?
Yes. So I do a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I will have patients that want to do completely natural, that have done IVF in the past, but now want to try getting pregnant on their own at home. I have patients that just want to go straight into IVF or fertility treatments. And I support them on that journey also, where I work with their doctors to make sure the medications are the right dosages, that we're aware of other options that we can use in combination with the cycle, I educate them on how to give their medications, answer questions. I really journey with them so they know they don't have to worry about calling a doctor off hours or bothering their nurse, or maybe their doctor just isn't very responsive. I'm an extra person that can be there to help them through those times. For my natural fertility patients, I do a really big deep dive into their life, which is really fun for me. It's fun for them because it brings awareness. And with awareness, we can create change and make choices that are in alignment with our beliefs and our life.
Yes. It's all connected. And I'm sure you are a huge, emotional support for them as well as they're moving through such an emotional journey.
Yes.
This has been so powerful. Also selfishly for me, you guys, I'm not gonna lie. It's just, I know it is for everyone listening. But really your journey is powerful and filled with strength and hope and inspiration, and what you're doing in the world is amazing. So thank you for taking it all and really like making something so important.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I think you already said it, but I'll ask again. What makes you a badass manifester?
Woohoo! So I am a badass manifester because I believe that I can create a life that I love. And it starts with me knowing that I'm worthy and that I'm loved and that I'm capable, and then finding proof of that in my life.
Yes. So amazing. Thank you so much. So tell everyone where they can find you, connect with you, work with you, all the things.
Yes. So I know all of you are amazing advocates out there, and that I know you're worthy and that you can do anything. So if this is resonating with you, if you want a little nudge in your own health journey with your own advocacy, reach out to me. You can schedule a free consult where we talk, connect on my website. It's andreablindt.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at Andrea Blindt, and I have free downloads, freebies there with a bunch of things. I have affirmation decks, relationship tips, journals, things like that you can get as my gift to you or anyone else that you know who might benefit from it. I'm here for you. I'm excited for you. I believe in you. And I just would be honored to play a role in your journey.
So awesome. Wow. Thank you so much. Everyone go follow and sign up if you feel called, and definitely tag us and let us know what part resonated with you the most. All the links for Andrea will be in the show notes. So just scroll down, click below, and super pumped for you guys to get this information and be connected. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next week. Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at ManifestWithAsh. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here, we be about it. Now go get 'em.